Hello, Renee Flamont here. You guys, a couple of weeks ago, I took an off-topic Friday and talked about dating on the line, right? It's the way everyone dates these days. Well, this encompasses dating in any capacity, regardless of how you meet. Online, in person, because I've realized there are so many things I'd like to let you know. And no, I'm not a dating expert, no, but I've certainly made enough errors to be awake to what I probably should not be doing. What to ask, what to answer, how much do you say, what details do you give out. I have found I am much more private now. For example, where I might have answered to they say, oh, tell me about your family. Okay, I used to answer maybe something like this. Sure, yes, okay, I have an Italian mother, I have a French father, everyone is small on both sides, insert short joke here, my brother's my best friend, might as well be my twin, blah, 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 blah. Now, no. My answer is more like, my family? Yes, we're very close. You? How about your family? Throw it back. Cut off details. Now, before you say, but isn't this period supposed to be getting to know each other? I have all of that I'm going to unpack. They don't need so many details so fast. That's not going to affect the state of them getting to know you or you're getting to know them. Those kinds of details can unfold as you get to know someone. No need to divulge so much so fast. And I always did. I get nervous and then I get chatty and and I give extraneous information that's even surpasses the question they asked. Right? If you're that kind of person, this video is probably for you as well, especially, But I began thinking of it like the more you say, the more they have to use against you, like in a court of law. And no, this isn't me being down on people. That's not what this is. This is me being careful. I don't want to reveal any vulnerabilities I may have to this new person. Not at all. I don't want them having inside info on me. No way. The narcissist collects that information and uses it later. Of course they do. It could even just be a rotten person, not even a narcissist, who might use it later. It could be a full-blown psycho who uses it later. And I just think being more private is the way to go. Just watched Flesh, it's called. Sebastian Stan and the girl, and they meet in the produce section of the supermarket, about as wholesome as you can get, right? She tells him right from the beginning that she basically is without family. She revealed that right away. So what does that tell a person who is preying on someone innocent? And I won't go into the movie. You can watch it. I suggest you do. It's excellent. But what does that do? That lets them know no one will miss you if you're missing. No one is going to be looking out for you. No one's going to come to your rescue if they're mistreating you. You just let them know you're alone in the world. You're the perfect vulnerable position for them to pick and choose and use for their project, for their devaluing, for their whatever. Could be a nice guy also. Absolutely it could be. But then again, if he is, he doesn't need to know the birth dates and social security numbers of every member of your family within the first question, within 30 seconds that he says, tell me about your family. I'm being facetious, but you know what I'm saying. They'll be patient. They'll wait. They don't need every detail. And I always did this. I was very chatty, nervously. I'd go on about details like I knew this person, like I was talking to a cousin. And again, to get back to that, you may say, well, aren't we supposed to be getting to know the person? Yes, the person, not their bio. I don't consider that knowing a person. You tell me your bio, okay, so you just gave me your resume. Where you're from, where you work, all this. I don't need to know any of that. That doesn't tell me anything about you as a person. And they don't need yours. Just observe their behavior in those beginning stages, right? Listen as they reveal. And don't answer personal questions under the guise of they're trying to get to know you. I had somebody come back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was like 8 questions in a row. It felt very odd. And this was in text form, right? Somebody was trying to fix me up with someone. This was a few years ago. And this was in text form. So finally I just cut it off. And I said to my friend who was trying to fix me up, he is just like not even a comment to what I said, just one question after another. You want to watch out for that. Why are they collecting so much information? This guy was a lawyer. So that's kind of what he's probably used to doing. Question after question after question. I'm not your client. You don't need to do that to me. And then you say, well, what else do we talk about? How do you get to know someone? There are a lot of things. There's a ton of things to talk about in getting to know people that will reveal you to this person and reveal them to you, yet it keeps them away from the personal. You could bring up history. You could talk about the news. I don't mean politics. Never a good idea. But you could bring up history. You could bring up the news. You could talk about music. You could talk about golf, food, travel, books, movies. All of these things, for example, will tell you what kind of person they are. I know a person who's 12 years older than I am, and they're in the dating world right now. That puts them, let me think, they're 66. It takes 30 seconds to realize that this guy's very old in his mind. You ask him, what kind of music do you like? And then he says, what kind do you like? If you say rap, for example, I've seen this happen. He'll go, oh, that's not even music. Like a crabby apple 98-year-old. Too much information. You didn't need to say that and denigrate somebody's taste in music. But that did teach the girl, who, by the way, didn't go out with the guy. Ooh, he's kind of like staunch on his opinions, right? All they were doing was talking about music. She didn't have to reveal anything about herself. She didn't have to reveal anything about herself. You bring up history. You're talking about, I don't know, Civil War, JFK, or whatever it is. Something non-personal, yet something everyone has an opinion about. You could tell a lot about a person when you're talking about something that involves them to give their opinion on it. Are they well-spoken? Are they not well-spoken? Do they have an opinion? Does it agree with yours? Do they seem open-minded? Do they seem closed-minded? Do they seem crabby? Do they seem... There's a lot you can get to know. Through music, it's very easy. You may have an anecdotal insert that you may want to share from your youth or whatever. Great. That's great. I remember this song and I would be on the porch singing it with my family. Great. That's fine. Just leave out extra personal, unnecessary details. Just leave it out. I am positive that with my narcissist, I probably said things that led him to know that what I fancied in a person. That's how they mirror us. When you date a narcissist, they mirror you. I'm positive I allowed things to slip that let him know I wanted him to be this way, that way, chivalrous, big strong man, Prince Charming, my love for Cinderella, all of this, the fairy tale, Not anymore. And I knew that. I knew that a long time ago, and I continue to do it anyway. Because I knew a long time ago, don't tell them what you want. Get to know them and see if they are what you want, Renee. But what did I do? Oh, God. Oh, God. I would absolutely, when they say, so what are you looking for in a person? Renee had 12 minutes on that. Oh, what was your last relationship like? Renee had 12 minutes on that. Oh, what don't you want in a relationship anymore? I'm sure I had 12 minutes on that. Well, what is a person who is manipulative, who is trying to gain information to get inside your psyche, going to do with that? They're going to collect it, and they're going to pretend to be exactly what you said you wanted, if they're a dysfunctional person. Now, if they're a healthy person, then they'll just click this information and say, ooh, I'm like that. I'll get to show her that. Or, ooh, she said that. Little does she know I have the same thoughts. Or, ooh, and they will let that unfold. Or maybe they're the type to interrupt you every 2 seconds. Oh, me too, me too, me too. And you might have a connection and boom. The danger is, the problem is, you don't know them yet. Date 1, date 5. You don't know them yet. You just don't. It takes time to establish whether or not this person is even consistently who they're portraying to be to you. They could be one person on date 1. You could find them being a totally different person on date 2. Ooh, on date 3, they acted a little off. You don't know them yet. You have to spend the time. And when it comes to what you answer, what you don't answer, like I've mentioned this before, like I don't like the question, what do you do? I just don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like having to prejudge in my mind, regardless of how they answer. They might do something great, they might do something shady, and boom, you form an opinion on them either way. All of the little details, those to me are inconsequential details. And somebody who, say, is like a judge or a surgeon or a professor or a nurse or a policeman, they're going to be proud. They have very important jobs. They want to tell you what they did, right? They want to tell you what they do. Probably I would be proud of any of those professions. But here's the thing. Now you may be in danger of viewing them automatically, boom, putting them in the good person category because of what they told you they did. Be very careful of that. It's something that happens within the first date usually. And with me, I stretch it out. I don't want to know. So maybe the second date. But people, especially if they're proud, they'll find a way to work their profession into the conversation. Don't allow that to sway you, that they might be this good person. Another thing with dating I want you to keep in mind is, same with the online that I mentioned before, I wouldn't have anybody know where you live right away. Why? Why do they need to know where you live? They invited you to Netflix and chill. So maybe you're thinking, all right, well, they're not supposed to know where I live. I'll go to their house. Why? Is it in the beginning? Do you have to Netflix and chill in the beginning? Do you have to Netflix and chill in the beginning? Maybe you're like, yeah, Renee, that's all I want really right now is Netflix and chill. Well, it'll be hard-pressed for me to go to anyone's house fast ever again. Especially after seeing the movie Flesh. I say that tongue-in-cheek, but go watch it. It's a movie. It's a fictional story, but it happens. That can happen. Things like that happen all the time. And what is your bar against that? Well, you have to recognize the love bombing that he did to her, which he did. Came on strong, very charming, invited her to go away. Haphazard last-minute excuse as to why they won't leave until the morning. We'll just stay at my house. It's on the way, or whatever he said. Gets her into his house. I am telling you what. This is no laughing matter. Somebody gets you into their home and they're not a righteous person, you're now at what they call the secondary crime scene, right? You watch Criminal Minds and whatever, Forensic Files, anything, documentaries, they tell you right out, do not allow yourself, and I'm not assuming your date is a criminal, but it can happen. Where do you think they get their victims, these criminals? Ted Bundy, just look up his story. They charm people. They charm people. And they tell you right out, do not ever let yourself get to the secondary location. Meaning, you're on the street, you're running, say you have headphones in. And when I would run, I never had headphones in because I wanted to hear the van coming up to me. And I would on the other side of the street, I would run to see cars coming at me. Against the law, I don't care. I want to see them coming. Somebody pulls up, they grab you. They teach you, fight, kick, scream, pull hair. Do not allow them to take you to the secondary crime scene. Put up the fight of your life at crime scene A on the sidewalk when they're trying to take you. Because once they have you in that van and take you to a secondary crime scene, guess what? Your percentages go for survival. Same thing with dating. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be like the negative Nelly, but there's no way you're getting me in your house anytime soon. No way you're learning where I live anytime soon. You could go out with somebody for months before they ever need to know where you live. How much are you dating them? Once a week? The narcissist, right off the bat, is every single night, and boom, you're in both of each other's houses, and everything moves at lightning speed. That's what taught me no. I want someone to earn their way. This is my home. This is my home. And like I mentioned on the online off topic a couple weeks ago, go meet them for a date. They don't need to pick you up. I wanted to see, he offered, I wanted to see if he's a gentleman. There's other ways to see if he's a gentleman. There's other ways to see if he's a gentleman. How they behave in public. There's a lot of information. How they speak to the person that's around you. How they interact with you. Do they pay you proper mind? Do they listen to what you say when you answer something? Are they asking about you at all? They could just go on and on and on about themselves. That's a bad sign for dating. I went on a date. This was last summer. I swear the guy talked about himself for 3 hours. I was in hell. Now you might say, well, what was that about? We had talked, we had FaceTimed, it was a long I thought, all right, we can have dinner. Now I'm like not even likely to break bread with someone. And finally I said, do you know that you haven't really asked me one thing about myself? Yet you've given me details of an operation you ran in 1992? Seriously, you got to watch out for that. They're giving you that much detail about something. How about just saying what you did in that, oh, I did this. That should be a 20-second sentence, not a half-hour dissertation on something you did in 92, in 99, and 2015, and fast forward 3 hours later, you fill me in on details that don't matter. I don't even know you. I just met you. I care about these. We're talking names of people involved. Their side of the story, like everything. Wicked red flag. Didn't ask one thing about you the whole time. Have you had someone like that in your life? If that happens, my people, I want you to pay attention to that. That is a bad, unequal person. They just want you to. Now, you might say, well, he might have been nervous and he might have been chatty. No, because after that 3 hours, I said what I said. And he said, really? Is that true? I said, yes. Continued. Still about him. I finished the date, went home, and that was it. I never saw him again. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And that's another danger that I always had in dating. Because I love Cinderella and the fairy tale, I was always, and I don't want you to do this, I was always wanting to see something that might be there. What does that do? That sets you up for seeing things that are there that aren't really there. They're not there. You're just so wanting it to be the way that you picture things. You're thinking, oh, he's handsome. He seems intelligent. He doesn't end his sentences in prepositions. He seems to know what he's talking about. He seems kind. He speaks well of his mother. Doesn't matter. Anyone can feign any of those things. And well, they might have a shtick that works for them that they use to make themselves look charming, to make themselves appealing, to make you take notice of how kind-hearted they seem to be. It could be a game to lure you in. And I'm not Debbie Downer. I'm not trying to say there's nothing but danger. But I'm sorry, in the world today where people tend to go to each other's homes faster than they ever did, people meet online, they think there's a connection, boom, you're on to step 5. They used to be bases, remember? And I don't even mean physical. Let's just use the bases in terms of like ideological. But my God, there was first base, second base, third base. Now it's just boom. Everyone's in each other's lives, in each other's homes, knowing all about each other right away. Do you know that if somebody knows your name, I think it's name and birthday, they can find out almost anything about you? Throw in a phone number, I think they can do those backwards traces. I'm sure they can find out your address. I'm telling you what, the last person that I dated, that I made the no is a complete sentence video about, the one that had boundary issues, I didn't, and I went out with him 2 lunches. We talked on the phone a handful of times and texted. He was wicked too much with the texting. He doesn't even know my last name. He doesn't know my address. So I am not of any danger. Not that I felt he was dangerous, but I don't know. I met him twice. I know he had boundaries issues. Done. I feel pretty good. He didn't need to know my last name. Why? I met him online. I met him for lunch. I got in my own car and drove home from lunch each time, right? So I didn't feel the need for him to know my last name. I didn't feel the need to, where do you live? I live near Disney. Why does he need to know my address? And I made the mistake with the other guy, the one that talked about himself for 3 hours. I did give him my address, and I don't know why. I don't really remember why. There was a reason. He asked me for it, and it was because he wanted to send me flowers. So I got the flowers and whatever. And thank God he wasn't dangerous. I got out of it, no big deal. But after that, I realized, why'd you give him your address? You don't even know this person. What are you doing, Renee? You give somebody your address? Right? So the things I'm telling you, it's because I've done them. I've made every mistake possible. I've made every mistake possible. And you don't want to give so much of yourself away in the beginning that now you feel vulnerable and you don't even know this person. Because that's what happened to me. I was like, oh my God, the 3-hour guy who talks about himself now knows where I live. Now, okay, it's been over 6 months. I'm sure I'm fine. But what if he was some kind of crazy person? I broke my own rule. I never give my address out. I met him for the date, but I gave my address out. I wonder how he swindled that. What did I say? What happened? Oh, no, you know what I did? I think I gave him my name. What's your name? What's your name? That's when I decided no more last name. That's what happened. And he found my address. Scary, right? Under the guise of, and the truth that flowers were sent to my home. But guess what? I don't need flowers. And that's what made me realize I'm not giving anyone my last name. I'm not giving anyone my address. And I'm not telling anyone too much personal information. I cannot stress this enough. You want to keep stuff for yourself. And you want to see this kind of person for what they are. They don't need to know. Getting to know people, I think, has gotten out of hand. That doesn't mean I need to know every detail of your life. Another guy I was on the phone with a little over a year ago. An hour-long conversation. All he talked about was his exes. Pretty obsessed with his exes. That told me everything I wanted to know. I never met the guy. Went on and on and on. You don't want to be that person going on. Well, the last person I dated was a narcissist and blah, 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 and we got divorced and da, da, da. They don't need to know anything. Because then what? Then they know, if they know that your last relationship went kaput and it was a complete mess, then what? Are they going to think they can be lazy? Oh my God, this one's a mess. All I have to do is give minimal effort and she'll think I'm a king. This is how my mind works. What if you get a guy who thinks that way? I have a lot of guy friends. Most of my friends are guys. And it's just been that way my whole life. I still have friends from 10 years old, he's a guy. I still have friends from 20 years old, they're guys. I still have, you know what I mean? I don't know what that is. I'm just friends with a lot of guys and their wives now that they've all grown up and gotten married and have kids. But I tend to be friends with guys. So I talk to them all the time. And I've seen what they do. And if a girl gives too much away that she just came off a disaster, you can have a guy who's a minimal effort person think, oh, well, she'll be happy. You have to understand, her last one was a mess. I don't really have to do much. I'd have to really, like, run over her foot with a car for her to be mad at me, judging by what she told me about her ex. You don't want them thinking that. How was your last relationship? How do I answer that, Renee? You know how it goes. Some work out, some don't. What about you? Well, tell me. I mean, when was the last time? How long did you go out? For a while. Don't really want to talk about that. Let's spend our energy elsewhere. That kind of stuff. Those details will unfold as time goes on. I found myself saying that a lot. That'll unfold as time goes on. If time never goes on and you never go out with the person, you never have to reveal that story. You save certain things when people earn the right to hear those things. When you feel a sense of trust in this person that they're not going to use it against you in some way. That they're not going to be flippant with information that you give them that's important to you. You don't know anything about this person yet. I would be very careful when you're dating with how much you share. It can lead to a whole world of trouble in many different ways. Dangerous ways, physically, dangerous ways if they're a criminal, dangerous ways if they're a mind player person. It's just the less they know about you, the better. And I've given you some examples. There are plenty of things you can discuss and get to know the person without ever bringing up anything about yourself. Give the bare minimum so that you don't look cold and so that you don't look that distant. I'm sure I do appear distant because I don't give up anything anymore. I'm telling you what, I've made every mistake possible. And it's because I have that I'm trying to share it with you. I just want you to keep all this in mind on this Off Topic Friday. And I thank you so much for watching. And please go ahead and hit sub, like, and share. And I'll see you next time.